and gentlemen, welcome to episode 300. Holy crap-oly of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm host as always. I am Tyler, and joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tyler. Man, not much from the from Colonel Gables camp this time of the year, but honestly, even all throughout this week after Extra Life and stuff, it just feels like I'm just missing that one day. You know, that one day of rest or something like that.
Yep.
It's kind of funny. And even what's more so funny is, like, even at my workplace and stuff, I told people, and even like during the whole aspect of me going to different places, just telling different friends and this and that and stuff, they still don't believe I played that whole 24 hours and stuff. And some of them was like, oh man, holy shit. But yes, I am doing pretty good at the moment. I mean, work stuff was here and there and stuff, but oh man. But yeah, I'm just glad it's the weekend. So how have you been, Tyler?
I'm right there with you. I'm glad it's the weekend as well. You know, it's Saturday night. I'm doing really well. You know, Extra Life was last week. It's funny, Extra Life was 1 week ago.
Yep.
And it feels like it was 6 months ago.
Kind of, yeah.
It's a blur. I think most Extra Lives are after the fact. Because in some ways it goes by really fast, in some ways it feels like it's an eternity. Extra Life is a weird thing, but yeah, no, it's nice. I luckily I had a couple days off of work to recover from Extra Life this year, so and it was kind of nice having those couple days to recover, and then also made the week a little shorter as well for at work, so it was nice.
Oh yeah, where it's like the opposite ways with like myself, where it's like I did the full 24 hours, I slept. I fell asleep like roughly around 1 o'clock Sunday morning, and immediately I had to wake up like around 7 or 8 o'clock because someone in the household wants me to go and get coffee with them. So it's like I did that, plus Monday and Tuesday, and even Wednesday to a certain extent, everything felt like a blur. Not to mention that Sunday, I mean, for God's sakes, it's I was literally exhausted from barely getting any sleep. And on top of that, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week was more or less me just chugging along, trying to get different stuff, you know, because it's like that one day of sleep affected like my entire kind of work production.
Yeah, you can't recover from it, you know, going through a normal week. The last 3 years is when I finally started taking time off to recover from it. Because yeah, I was there with you, especially on going, because Sunday's lost. You know, your Sunday's gone. Even for you, who started at midnight and was done at, you stopped a little after midnight.
Yep.
You know, even that is difficult enough. But you know, me getting done at 7 a.m. My time.
Oh, that's right.
Sleeping for 2 hours, and then trying to go back to sleep, and not going back to sleep until 11 o'clock. After 11 o'clock Sunday night.
God, I was more surprised that all of us...
way.
That I know, right? I'm just surprised that like all of us or something like that were still playing games the next day afterwards.
Yeah, I went right back to playing games. I played a bunch of Assassin's Creed on Sunday evening. But yeah, no, it drains you. It took every year. I always like forget how difficult Extra Life can be, and not just the event itself, but the after effects. Because like I said, Sunday you're there, like, but the lights aren't on, kind of thing. You know, like you're kind of like a zombie, just kind of going with the flow. And then Monday is the same. Even for me having the time off, Tuesday was like I felt normal again.
Yeah.
So, because like your sleep schedule's thrown off, you haven't fully recovered yet. Yeah. Then Tuesday, like Monday night, I slept for like 9 hours finally, and that's when I started feeling pretty good. I started feeling better. I took a small nap on Monday too as well, so that helps. But yeah, it was I don't know. I guess we're talking about this week. We should probably just jump right into Extra Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you started at midnight your time, which was 2 o'clock my time. I started
Right.
at 8 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock your time. There's daylight savings time in there, so typically, I'll do the full 25. This year, I just did the 24. But you go ahead and I'll just kind of jump in with you here and there. But tell me about how tell me what you did for Extra Life, how it started, what the games you played.
All right, so my Extra Life kind of started off with a bit of a bang with me falling asleep around 7 o'clock, like Friday night, and then subsequently waking up close to around midnight. So here I am, I hardly have like a bunch, I think I had roughly 4, almost 5 hours of sleep. And I started off by playing a bit more of Castlevania Requiem, where I went through Castlevania Rondo of Blood. Not only did I go through, it took like a couple hours just to go through and like play that game, but that was one of the consistencies that I did throughout Extra Life, because the games that I played during Extra Life was Castlevania Requiem, mostly 100%ing Rondo of Blood, so I ended up beating that game throughout my stretch of that day, plus going through, unlocking the certain paths, rescuing all the damsels and stuff. And on top of that, going through Symphony of the Night, going through different types of trophies and this and of that. But other games I was playing some Dragon Ball Fighters for a little bit, where I was went through one of the arcade modes on hard mode with the trio that I use of Piccolo, Android 16, and Hit. So I went through that. I streamed that one for about an hour. I had to take a break after around 7 hours in, because I had to go and get like freaking car stud tires put on this van. And basically, when I returned back, I was playing little bits of like Rocket League here and there with I think it was you and like the other guys.
Yeah,
I think it was just mostly you and I actually that was playing
yeah.
Rocket League together.
Yeah, it was just you and me.
Yeah, it was just you and I and stuff. We played a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh with Jake.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But the crux of what I was playing actually happened around the time that I got back from taking one of my breaks. I went to Walmart and I bought Spider-Man.
Yes.
And man, throughout that gameplay, that game single-handedly is what saved me from dozing off to sleep during Extra Life during those last couple hours. Because even though I love playing video games, and even though I had made it so far into that thing, the last couple hours I was fucking delirious. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, those last couple hours I felt like I was drunk and stuff, and what kept me awake during that time, talking with both you and our friend Nerves and stuff like that on a freaking PlayStation chat, was me going around the freaking city of Spider-Man with these silky smooth ass controls, collecting all the various backpack items and all the locales. Throughout that one day, I have not returned back to Spider-Man since. But during that one day, I had finished about 30% of the game.
Nice, dude. Wow.
And I collected all the backpack collectibles and photographed all the locations in that overworld. That's how much I got done of Spider-Man. And I still did like a bunch of those little mini games and this and that. I mean, I went through the combat, certain portions of that. And my gosh, it was so fun just completely just playing that game. And I only think I just got past like one of the first couple bosses of that freaking game, and I was just focusing on much of the side missions and exploring everything and unlocking the radio towers, kind of the basic open world sort of feel when I play games of that sort. I mean, the last game that comes to mind is like Ghost Recon Wildlands, I think a few years back, now that I think about it. Like a year or so? Man, it feels like a few years. But anyway, that was pretty much my crux of my Extra Life. I ended up raising around $135 altogether, which, hey, that's not bad, but
good.
But because of that, I still have to track down a ghost pepper and eat it live. And I also have to finish up the rest of the game you selected, Pitter Pot.
Yes. I want to go back and watch you play that game on Twitch.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am definitely going to be categorizing that. I mean, I've categorized some bits on my Twitch channel, but yeah, the game that Tyler wanted me to play, because for one, he was the highest donor throughout that whole span of the earnings that I had raised for Extra Life. Pitterpot on the PS4. I checked out the game and it was on sale for like $5, so I picked it up. And I'm just gonna say this right now: the game puts me to sleep. Quite frankly, every single time that I have tried playing that game, either after work or even like around 8, maybe close to 10 o'clock at night, I play like about 20 or 30 minutes of it, and I feel like I have to go to sleep because I start to yawn, I start to do this and that, and it's because of how generic the game is in general. The music is, well, let's just say this. The music is mediocre at best, where there are certain tracks that are looping around in certain portions. The level design is more or less relaxed and stuff, but it looks like something that had been done, just a basic freaking in the unit. It's like a basic sort of level design structures and character models from like the Unity system, which, yeah, that game was made in Unity. It actually just advertises it front and center that this game was created in Unity, this and that. Some of the attacks and some of the various platforming things I do not really care for as much. Now, as far as how much I have done of Pitterpot, I have gotten through to World 3, I want to say. Yeah, about World 3. I basically have to go through and collect a total of 32 of these freaking acorns in order, I think, in order to go to the next world, since I think I collected about 19 or 20. And the one thing that I could tell right away that this game was probably not going to be so memorable is when I talked to the NPC and I unlocked the trophy the first couple minutes of playing the game. Like, oh, yep, this is going to be one of those games, isn't it? So every time you finish a level that to complete, like to completion or some, it basically unlocks like, oh, okay, level 1.1 is complete or 2.2. I believe there's like, what, 17 levels in all in this game? Pretty much.
Too many.
There's basically too many for this type of a game. It tries to be a 3 platformer on par with, say, like a Mario 64 or like a kind of a bastardized version of Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah, it's neither one of those games. It doesn't even hit the grounds of some of the other platformers I've played over the past 20 years. Because unlike those games and stuff like that, this game pretty much feels like hot garbage.
Because it is.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. This game feels like hot garbage, and not because of, say, the level structure and the music and all this other stuff. It creates one of the most, like, not just creates, it does one of the most cardinal sins inside of a video game, in my personal opinion, and that is, if the game does not present itself to where you are engaged enough to keep on playing, then that's a bad game. Pitterpot is one such example, because no matter how many times I try to play it, and I am going to finish this game, mind you, because I got to stream this to the end. This game basically bores me to tears, and it wants to put me to sleep. If the game is boring, that's a bad game. So, in and of itself, my whole Extra Life experience and the ramifications of afterwards, man, it definitely does feel like a blur. I mean, I'm glad that I raised the money. At the same time, I know I got to go forth and finish this game Pitterpot. But another aftermath thing of the whole Extra Life 2018 is the very next day, I was checking out the trophy list for what I had to get done for Castlevania Requiem. I only had one more trophy for Rondo of Blood, and I had to do the rest. I basically had to do the rest for Symphony of the Night. And inside that very next day, after slogging through 24 hours, I managed to go through and platinum Castlevania Requiem. I got everything done. I beat Rondo as the other playable character, Maria. I went forth and I unlocked different types of stuff, including exploring all 200.6% of Symphony of the Night. And how I did that is because I forgot that there's an exploit that you can use to unlock the rest of the map by basically using these freaking gravity boots that sends Alucard flying towards, like, the top of, like, say, the inverse caverns, and then you have to transform into the wolf while in these waters in order for that damn wolf sprite to touch the higher end of the roof so it actually would register on the map. Yeah, I forgot about that trick. And that was one of the reasons why that when I beat the game originally, I only had like 198.3%. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? But, yes, one of the last trophies I had to do was I had to basically play through the game like I did when I originally played through the game way back when I rented a Blockbuster. What I mean by that is I had to get the worst ending inside Symphony of the Night, which basically that means I gotta go through, play, not collect any of the special items that are allowing me to go forth and uncover the truth behind Richter being controlled by dark magic and stuff. And I had to pretty much face off against Richter Belmont in this hard-ass boss battle with an underpowered Alucard. It took me 2 tries, but on the 3rd try, I managed to figure out, oh, okay, let's go ahead and spam my health recovery items. Let's go ahead and, like, do some of these techniques. And yeah, I better use this resist holy attack stuff because it's basically doing like 40 plus damage every time he's hitting me. So I reduced it down to like freaking 2 with these resistance stuff. And yeah, once I beat him and unlocked that last trophy and then unlocked the platinum live on stream, that felt amazing. That was good. But yeah, that was my extra life and the aftermath from that. So what about yours, Tyler?
Mine went really well, I thought. Like I said, you started at midnight your time. I started 6 o'clock your time. So you were already going. Nerves from talking ship had already started about an hour before me or so.
Yep.
And it was, I had some plans. We talked about last week some ideas. Assassin's Creed Odyssey I wanted to play. Saving the Spider-Man DLC, and I'm like, I'll get to the Spider-Man DLC stuff later. But you came back with Spider-Man. Nerves was playing Spider-Man pretty much 70% of the time we were playing together on a party chat, and I'm like, damn, I want to go play it. So I jump back in, and oh man, like I completely forgot how to play that game. I couldn't even like defeat like the normal the street thugs, and it only been, I don't know, 2 months since I played the game, a little less than, and I had no idea how to do anything in this game. So I just went around for a couple hours and just like fought, did a bunch of street crimes and fought some of the bases and stuff like that, just trying to get my wits about me again in this game. Finally got a little better at it, and decided to jump into the heist DLC, the City That Never Sleeps, I think is what it's called. And
Yes.
it's the first DLC that so I bought the season pass. I bought the deluxe edition, $80 one, whatever it was. It comes with season pass for it, and they split the season pass is 3 parts. First part came out in October, then the second one comes out November 20th, and then the third part comes out in December. And so I've been saving that first part for a while, and went ahead and played it. It is about you and the Black Cat, which she's like a part of like a side quest and stuff you can do in the game, but she's not really a part of the main game at all. And so it kind of deals with you as Spider-Man and Peter Parker and the relationship, because they used to date before the game, and going through, and she's basically being blackmailed by these guys to do some stuff, and he's trying to help her out. But yeah, I played Spider-Man for probably 6 hours or so on Extra Life, and 3 or 4 of that hours was playing through the DLC. So
Yeah.
it was a fairly decent amount of DLC content there, and I finished it with 89% completed for the DLC. There's
not bad.
There is some side stuff you can do, and then I did all the side stuff. Like the only side stuff I didn't do was like there's like street crimes, that like random street crime events that you can do.
Those ones, yeah.
Yeah, which are fine and all, but I did all the ones I found, but I didn't. I'm not gonna go swing around the city to find the rest. So I did everything else in that mission in those in part 1. Like I said, part 2 comes out the week of Thanksgiving. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that quite a bit. The only downside of it was the very last mission of the game is very difficult. I remember I think Jake, Tim, and you were in there, and I was on the verge of throwing my television through a window because I was getting so frustrated because it was just so many enemies. Like, oh, there's a tank, then there's 3 guys with rocket launchers, there's a sniper, there's 2 of the big bodyguard guys. It was just an asinine amount of enemies you had to fight off, and I spent probably a good 30 minutes trying to beat this, and I finally beat it. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I did not expect Spider-Man to be the game. I think I probably played Spider-Man the most during Extra Life. And if you would have asked me beforehand what game I would play the most, this would not have been at all. I figured, it's probably there's 3 parts. It's only $25 or $20 for the season pass. I was thinking maybe 6 hours of content combined, and
right.
I this first one alone was 3 or 4 hours. I'm sure if you flew through the main missions, it's probably a couple hours. But I'm enjoying that world so much. Being Spider-Man, that was fun again, jumping back in. And the story in the DLC was really good. It's one of the, most DLC you play in games is bad, or it's just like it feels like side quest ripped out of the main game, and this one feels like its own thing. And it's actually when you want to play the DLC, you have to so there's you have to be in either DLC mode or you have to be in the main game mode. So
I see.
Yeah, so you get to pick one or the other. So you can't do side missions in the main game while playing the DLC. So that's kind of cool. Kind of makes it feel like its own thing, which I liked quite a bit. I played a few games of Madden, like I always do. Nothing really to say about that. I played a bunch of Assassin's Creed Odyssey though. And it's kind of funny because it's kind of like Assassin's Creed is kind of like the game of Extra Life for me almost every year. I talked about when we were talking about when we were talking about our previous years of Extra Life, the last 6 weeks or so, going back and looking back at them. It's like, Black Flag was a big part of Assassin's Creed or my Extra Life that year. Oh, hey, Origins was a big part of last year's, and this year Odyssey was the same thing for me. Where like I was talking about a few weeks ago with Origins, like the middle of the night is obviously a tough time for me. That stretch probably I don't know, that 16 to 20 hours, that part right there is always the most difficult for me. Because it's usually about the time I go to bed. About 10 o'clock, my time is, I'm usually asleep by 10 o'clock on the weekdays. And that part, about 9:30 or so, when usually I'm about to lay down, I started hitting that wall. And to about, I don't know what it is, 2 or 3 o'clock, every year. Is always the roughest patch for me. But this year I started playing a bunch of Assassin's Creed, and I just did side missions. I didn't want to do story stuff because we're in a party chat.
Yeah.
I was playing on my Xbox One X, but I still stayed in my party chat on PS4, and it was kind of nice, talking to you guys, bullshitting with you guys. Obviously that always helps. But then I was just doing side stuff, and it's just you can just kind of do side stuff without really paying attention to too much what you're doing, and just kind of go with the motions. And that helped quite a bit. And then, I was talking the last month or so about you always want the ringer for Extra Life. That guy that's not part of Extra Life, but he comes in and he just kind of joins you and he bullshits with you. This year we had Justin again. He came in. I don't remember what time he joined. It was probably 10, 11 o'clock my time.
Oh yeah, it was around the same time where I started to feel like I was really getting out of it. So yeah.
Yeah. So he jumped in. He was fairly energized. He was wanting to bullshit with us. He was playing some games while he was in bullshit with us, kind of going, and we were kind of in zombie mode, and kind of helped snap out of it. And after you left, because like I said, I was
Because
going
I finished.
Yeah, you were done. You left because you were done. I went and took like a 20-minute shower right after. I think
Dude.
right when you left, I left.
Dude, Tyler, I kid you not. If I would have stayed any longer, I fucking would have just passed out. I could have I could swear to God, I probably could have just passed out at that moment in time because it was like 12:30, 12:40 something that I left the party chat. I went forth. I set out like the whole like Facebook and like I think it was like a tweet I said where I finished up. Then once I got ready and stuff, and I hit that bed, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
I just collapsed and I fucking just went to sleep up until like for a good solid 4 or 5 hours, and that's what ended up starting my zombie week.
Yeah. So like I said, Justin came in, kind of bullshitted with us. And it kind of helps too, because like I've talked about in the past with like, there's always a handful of us in that party chat together. This year is kind of unfortunate where it was just really, Jake joined us for probably 6-7 hours.
Yep.
But it was really just Nerves, you and I in the chat the whole time.
Well, pretty much. I was actually kind of disappointed that we didn't get like a party chat together thing for like the whole freaking Friday the 13th stuff.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that's because we were talking about like having the Rocket League thing. Like that was like it's like we do it every year. It's like our annual thing, and we didn't have it. Like I said, we were saying earlier, it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
Usually for Extra Life, we have you can only fit 8 people in a party chat, and we'll have people want to join in, but the party's full. And we didn't really have this year. Like Wes jumped in for a few hours, bullshit with us. So people jumped in here and there throughout, but it was really just a few. It was just the 4
of us, really.
Yeah. But yeah, the 3 of us, and then a random person would jump in here and there throughout. But anyways, yeah, with Justin, he came in, he bullshit with us, and it was nice creating a new conversation. Because like I said, we were in the party chat for a long time. Yep. Really, just kind of playing games, and like every now and again, you can kind of hear the other person playing games, or like they'll chime in with something. But for the most part, like especially in the latter half, it's a lot of silence. Like
gosh,
you have ran out of things to talk about. Like there's always so much you could talk about,
Oh shit.
So having Justin jump in, help us out, play, and then he sent me. He left for a little bit because he had to do something. He was gonna go get some food. He's like, "Hey, dude, let me know when we want to play Friday the 13th." And I'm like, "Okay." So he jumped back on, and we played like the last 4 hours, had a lot of fun with that, and it was actually kind of cool because he never played it already. He had played a couple matches before, way back when.
Yeah.
But we were playing, and we're like, it was kind of fun because we were playing in a party together, but we were kind of working together too, and we actually got really close to killing Jason in the game, and we looked up so I googled how to kill Jason. And it's like, and like we can get this a little bit later, but Gabe and I and a few other people played Friday the 13th just last night for a few hours. But we looked up. There's like 6 or 7 steps you have to accomplish, and you got to accomplish them perfectly to kill Jason in Friday the 13th.
Dude, and I'm just thinking like if we ever do that again and stuff, let's just aim for that achievement so that everybody can just fucking just get that out of the way, because that is so fucking ridiculous how many steps it takes just to kill Jason.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So, but what's funny is Justin and I, just the 2 of us playing together, we're playing against a bunch of rando people. We were so close to actually like killing Jason. Like we did everything, but we mixed up like the second to last step. So we didn't actually accomplish it. So real quick to kind of explain it. So you pretty much need everything to line up for you to do this. So you have to have someone has to find a radio in the game to call Tommy Jarvis, who's one of the characters in one of the Friday the 13th movies. And what has to happen is a character has to die or either like escape or die, and they'll come back as Tommy Jarvis. And then a female counselor has to find Jason's cabin, which is randomly placed somewhere in the map. It's hard to find. I've only found it a couple times ever. And they have to go in there as a female counselor, find his mom's sweater, Jason's mom's sweater, put it on, and then the person that's now Tommy Jarvis has to find a machete, and then you have to attack Jason enough that he drops his mask. Then Tommy Jarvis has to pick up the mask, have it in his inventory, and then the female counselor has to come over, stun Jason, and then as he's stunned, then with the machete, Thomas Jarvis has to kill Jason. It doesn't like explaining it sounds fairly easy, but I mean, like if the woman that's wearing if the person that's Tommy Jarvis gets killed, or the woman that's wearing the sweater gets killed, then you can't do it. If you don't find the radio soon enough, or someone doesn't come back as Tommy soon enough, you can't do it. If you can't find the shack, you can't do it. Jason's cabin, you can't do it. It's incredibly hard to do. Just finding the cabin is hard to do, let alone having to do all those together.
I know. We had that instance last night and stuff like that where I did find like the freaking Jason's like hideout and stuff. I had gotten the sweater as a female counselor. I know our friend Dave or son was Tommy Jarvis. Everything lined up except I accidentally picked up Jason's mask and I could not freaking drop it in time before one of us got killed.
Yeah. So
and even like earlier today, I streamed like one match of Friday the 13th where I played as Jason, and I had the opposite, the exact opposite of last night, where it's like the one match and stuff. We had these two characters, had everything else lined up, but me playing Jason and stuff like that, I broke and I actually killed the Tommy Jarvis character. And in his resort, these guys got so pissed that they were trying to do everything they could to try to go for it. Some of them left. Some of them were trying to teabag my Jason stuff because they knew they can't kill me at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I looked up the trophy to kill Jason for like the people that have killed him. Only 3% of people that play the game have killed Jason. So it's not. It's fairly hard to do. Like I'm sure if like because there's a 20-minute time limit in the game, so you have to like find everything. I guess if you got like 3 people like friends together and played in a private match, then you could probably do it.
Oh my gosh,
be a lot easier to do or accomplish at least. But still, you got to find a lot of stuff and make a lot of stuff.
It should be, Tyler. It should be like accomplishable and stuff like that. But if you're going to even try to attempt something like that, you got to have at least a party with you. Like of actual people that want to go through and do that. Because if you try to do like random stuff, like say how you and I last night tried to do like a random, just the two of us, man, there are so many people actually teaming together, like as Jason as one of the counselors and stuff, just telling people, the others, like how to do this, how to do that, and blah blah blah. Basically, they're trying to farm the system. What I'm saying, and trying to make sure that they got so many freaking wins as Jason or as one of the counselors, and then just try to get some of the freaking trophy stuff just to be done with it. Because honestly, when you look up the trophy list for Friday the 13th, you need so many kills as a count as Jason, and you have to escape so many times as a freaking like counselor, to where it's really comical how many times you have to fucking do this type of shit. And it's like, you try to do it randomly, you're not gonna get shit done. You try to do it as a party, you get a group of people together and do things just right, I could see why. But it kind of eliminated a lot of the fun elements for like yesterday, just Tyler and myself, because there was one point where I was playing inside of the match with Tyler, and I, as one of the female counselors, went forth and I found the fuse box, and I found like the thing to fix the fuse box to call the cops, and one of my teammates that was also a female counselor just started randomly attacking me because the person got pissed off because I freaking would not go along with their fucking like farming scheme that they were doing. I mean, at this point, I just turned off the freaking like game chat and all this other shit because it was just
well, because the problem is, and Justin and I found this a couple times playing too during Extra Life, but people would people will be playing quick games together, but they'll be in a party. But one of the friends in the party is Jason, so the counselors that are friends with the person playing as Jason will help that person, help the guy playing as Jason. Find the other counselors and kill them. And then they'll like just goof off for the rest of the game, or they'll kill all the other counselors, and then they'll have their own like free for all match, and it just kind of ruins it.
Bullshit.
Yeah, so we had a lot of issues with that, but
it's awfully stupid, honestly. Where I've actually tried this too, where everyone's in the same party chat talking with each other, even the person playing as Jason, and it's like you can hear everything inside there unless you go forth and you freaking mute each and every character. Who's playing at that moment in time.
It's not like it's still fun, but it sucks a lot of the fun out of it when you discover, oh, these people are working together.
Yeah,
Like Friday the 13th, and it's a buggy game. It's clunky. It's a lot better than what it was when I played it because I got it for Christmas last year. But it runs a lot better now than what it did then. It was a PS Plus game last month, so it's been nice because I really liked the game back then. But I was playing, my sister bought it for me, and we were playing together online. It was fun playing it, but it's really nice like having like it being a free game for everybody. Now everybody, pretty much everybody you want to play with has it, and but like we played it a few weeks ago, and it was incredibly fun because there was like 7 of us in a party playing private matches.
Oh yeah,
so
it
was
course.
Just us playing, but like I remember trying to play this last year like by myself, and it's just not a fun game to play by yourself.
No, absolutely not.
Do it because there's a lot of downside. Because they're 20-minute matches, and you can't leave. If you leave the match before the match is over, you don't get your experience points.
Exactly.
So you have to sit there.
That. Yeah, Tyler. Not to interrupt. Not to like try to like bother you or anything else
fine.
like that. But when I was doing that stream today for Friday the 13th, I only streamed one match because the exact same predicament happened to where I was left with one other person, and the person, one of the camp counselors, got stuck inside of the freaking building, like one of the buildings on the second floor, and I could not kill them. I could not go forth, and basically I had to wait until that person quit, and that was like about 10 minutes later after like everyone else had left before I can actually get my experience points and all this other stuff. So, man.
Yeah. So that's a big problem. Is you spend a lot of time just sitting there like watching people's. You can spectate the game after you die. So this game you have to play because honestly, like I was telling Justin and I were playing, I'm like it's almost more fun to like watch you play. Like I was telling, like if I die before you, it's almost more fun to watch you play the game or watch what other people are doing, rather than play the game sometimes. Because, you and I, we played for probably an hour or so, just the two of us, and then a few people from Talking Ship jumped in, and we played. There was 5 of us.
Yeah, the game was much better after that.
Yeah, and we just played a private match, so it was just 5 of us, so 1 guy and 4 counselors, 1 Jason and 4 counselors, and it was incredibly fun doing that,
It led to some like funny ass moments too, you know, like me playing as Jason and all of a sudden like actually chasing our friend Jason around the fucking table, and it was so funny because it's like I barely know how to play Jason as it is, and I was just trying to grab him, and it's like he's just running forth like to and fro. And it was like a solid minute, like a freaking like almost like a Benny Hill style of chase or something like that. Oh, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was uploading as a GIF or something on the Twitter or some shit because that was so funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny listening to you guys because he was not. So yeah, because we had a guy in the group with us named Jason playing. At one point, it was like, "Oh, there's Jason." I'm like, "Which Jason? Jason or Jason?" And it was confusing because I'm like, "I don't know which Jason we're talking about here." And then it was really confusing when Jason's playing as Jason. But yeah, it's so much fun. That game. Like, I'm happy this happened. I'm sad about the circumstances of the game that they can't work on it anymore. The game's practically dead. Basically, it's just the servers are up, but they're not allowed to work on the game anymore because of a lawsuit. But yeah, the game is still fantastic and it's fun to play. But it's definitely is a game you need to have at least one other person with you. If you can get at least minimum 5, and you just jump into a private match and play. That's the perfect way to play this game.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But that was, I mean, this year for Extra Life though, it definitely it was obviously it was difficult, obviously getting through, and like I said, like that 9:30, 10 p.m. to 2-3 a.m. part was incredibly tough. Like I was trying so hard not to fall asleep. I'm just like, oh man, I could just kind of like I'm sure like trying to like talk myself into like just rest your eyes for like 2 minutes. You know what? Just maybe set your alarm for 10 minutes and close your eyes and see what happens. You know. And I was just like going through this constant battle for like 5 hours of like, don't do it, Tyler. I'm like, oh, I should get out this chair's starting to get a little uncomfortable. Maybe I should go go lay on the bed and play games. Like that, that would have gone poorly, I'm sure. So, I was able to fight it off. I drank a Monster. Took a very long shower in the middle of the night. That helped. But yeah, in some ways it was. I mean, as difficult as it was, I would say this is one of the easier Extra Lives for me, personally. To make it through. Because like I said, I had the 1 year in 2016 where I passed out playing games. I've had years in the past where like I was sitting there doing the head bobbing when you're just sitting there playing a game and your head drops. You're like, oh, you like pop your head back up. You're like, what happened? Like this year, gosh. I mean, I was obviously very tired, but it was much easier to make it through.
I think this is my first where it's like I actually went the full 24 hours.
Yeah, so yeah, it was. I think it helped because just having I've always had to have that one or two games to play, but like this year I had a few games, like playing with Justin for Friday 13th, Spider-Man DLC, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Madden, being the big games for me. That really pretty much all I played for the most part to get me through it. And once I got through it, it was so much. It was a lot easier, and you always have that. You kind of have that rush after you're done. Like once you get the last hour is usually a cakewalk for me personally. It's just because you're just like it's like I have made this far. I just got to make it through this last part. It's like it's the last hour. I'll be done, and it's you get done. You turn it off and you go lay down. And you're like you have this rush, and you're just like. There's no way I'm gonna be able to fall asleep. I am like I did it. It's over. Like there's no way. So I remember I went and I laid down. I'm like I'm wide awake right now. Like I can't fall asleep. So I started watching some YouTube videos, and I made it 2 minutes into the YouTube video and I passed out. So it's a rush, but it's it fades quickly. As soon as your head hits the pillow, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a blast this year. I had fun. Gables, do you want to move into some of our news, or you want to just do some of what we've been playing?
Dude, let's just do more of what we've been playing and stuff. This sounds a lot more interesting right at the moment.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna run through mine real quick. Mine's kind of an extension of Extra Life. One game I played for a little bit during Extra Life. And I quit playing was a game called The Quiet Man. I've talked about it the last couple of weeks.
Right.
It was a game that came out a couple days for Extra Life. It's a Square Enix game. It was like $13. I think it's like 15 now. I started playing it. It's just not a good Extra Life game. So the premise of the game is you play as a character who's deaf, and you're like not like a bodyguard, but you're kind of like an enforcer for you're like a right hand man of like a crime lord. It's all the whole game. Like he's deaf, so like the whole game of the cutscenes is live action. Is live action, and then the actual gameplay obviously is animated. But so during the cutscenes, there's no subtitles. You can't. There's no sound, so you can't hear anything. And these cutscenes are like almost like Metal Gear long. Not like 45 minutes, but like they are like 10+ minute cutscenes, and multiple of them, and there's no sound. It's just you watching. It's live action. It's just you watching like multiple characters talk, and then every now and again it cuts into you fighting. This game feels like a PS2 era like mechanics, but with like early PS3 graphics. So it looks really bad, and it plays really bad. Like constant like so you like it's like you have some martial arts. So there's like 3 buttons you use. There's like a back step that's like your dodge. You have a kick and you have a punch, and you'll fight multiple enemies at once in these little small rooms you're in, and it's clunky. It's bad. Like Friday 13th is clunky and buggy, but it's like charming and kind of how it works, and it's fun in spite of all those. But like this game is just like I had enemies like clipping through the walls, me clipping through the enemies. The way everybody moves around is just like it feels very like mechanical. Like I said, like the cutscenes. Like I went back and played it after the fact. I'm like, oh, I'll finish it. It's only supposed to be a couple hours, and I played it. I got to like chapter 2. There's one part in this game where you like so he's like he has this he's in love with this like the crime lord's girlfriend, and
Okay.
she's like the singer at a club that the crime lord runs, and there's a whole section, whole part where she's playing the piano and singing, but you don't hear it. It's just silence, and it's just him watching her play. I'm like, this is stupid. What is the point of this? This is one of the worst games I've played in years. In years. This game is. There is no redeeming qualities other than how laughably bad this game is. They did like a thing where, hey, there's a new patch coming out. I think it might already be out. Where if you beat the game, you can replay it, but this time with sound and subtitles. I'm like,
Okay.
no, thank you. No, I'm good. I am good. There's no need. I was actually really excited for this game. I thought it was a really cool premise with the being deaf and everything like that. But I didn't realize, and I could have got past it with the cutscenes. Hey, I knew about that going into it. Like, hey, he's deaf, but he talks, but you can't understand what he's saying, or you can't understand what the characters are saying. And I didn't realize how many cutscenes there are and how long they are. Like if they're like shorter scenes, fine. They're a minute or two. But I mean, these are long, like I said, 5-10 plus minute scenes, multiple of them. The game is more cutscenes than it is game, and you don't know what's happening. You're just sitting there waiting for like, okay, what's gonna happen? And then when you cut to the actual gameplay, it's just like it's boring and it doesn't work well. Like I don't know who thought this game was gonna be good, and like this game was like one of the big things coming out of Square Enix's E3 press conference was the Quiet Man. Like this was the game a lot of people were talking about, like coming out of that, and they put a lot of there's a lot of buzz, I shouldn't say a lot of buzz, it's like AAA buzz, but a decent amount of buzz in like the gaming community about this game going into it. So they come out of it, and this is what we get, and it's awful. Like the reviews came out, and I didn't really read them. Like I think GameSpot gave it like a 2 out of 10. IGN gave it like a 5 out of 10. So yeah, it sucks. It's bad. It's just bad. Don't waste your money on this game. Like maybe go on YouTube and watch people play the game or something. But don't give them any money for this. The other game, I played a couple of the games, but I started playing a game called 1111 Memories Retold,
Right.
which I'm not gonna talk about today. It just came out yesterday on Friday, but it is from the same studio that gave us Valiant Heart: The Great War, which is a game I have raved about for 4 years now. It's their next game for that, but I just want to mention it's out. And if you like that game, check that out. But the one game I mentioned earlier in Extra Life, we're playing Extra Life, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I finally beat the game, Gables.
Really?
It took me over 40 hours and 5 weeks, but I beat the game.
Wow.
So yeah, which is for me is kind of a feat in itself. Playing a game for that long and sticking with the game for that long are two things I don't typically do.
Yeah.
I'm usually a person, if I don't beat it within a couple weeks, I kind of move on. Or if it's a game that's super long, there's not a lot of games I put more than 20 hours into, outside of like Madden, obviously. That's the one exception to the rule. But I think this game, I'll say this, like if I didn't have the days off, actually, if it wasn't for Extra Life and having the time off after Extra Life, I wouldn't have beat this game. Because I was ready after going into Extra Life, like that whole week going into it, I didn't play it at all. I think I played it for like an hour on Monday, and like the rest of the week I didn't play it. And then Extra Life came. I didn't even really, after I played the Spider-Man DLC, I really didn't really want to play it, and I jumped into it and I started playing it because I spent that much time away from it. It's just like, and Justin asked me if he's like, are you playing this game because you like it, or are you just kind of going with emotions? And I said, I'm like, I really don't know. Like there's parts of me that likes this game a lot. Like I've said in the past, like Cassandra is awesome. Greece is a great area. Like they have the ship battles. There's a lot of great things about this game. But then like the thing I thought about a couple weeks ago with with the scaling of the levels. Just that whole part of it is just kind of soured the taste for me of this game, and then just making it so you have to be a certain level to play missions. And then I eventually broke and I bought the XP boost that gives you an additional 50% experience as you play. I spent the $10 on that. But I, playing it for a bunch of time in Extra Life, so I leveled up quite a bit in that time. I think I went from level 18 or 19 during Extra Life to like level 23 or 24. So at that point, I was pretty over leveled not over leveled. I was over what the recommended level was for the story missions, but they still scale up for you for the enemies you fight in them. But I played it for a couple more hours Sunday morning, and then I played it like Monday and Tuesday. I just like having that time off. I started playing like that morning, and I pretty much played it all day, Monday and Tuesday, and finally beat it. What was funny is I beat the game with I think my character was at like level 41, and having the XP boost over 40 hours into this, I probably spent, I would say the main story, the missions alone probably take you about 20 hours. So I spent 20 hours doing my own stuff, and I was still under level for what they said I should be to beat the last handful of missions.
Wow.
So they recommend you pretty much need to be at level 43. Is kind of what the final mission recommends you to be at, and 50 is the cap, and that's with me using the boost. I started using the boost till 10, 11 hours into it, so maybe if I would have used it at the very beginning, I would have been there. But yeah, is my gamer pride, I guess, hurt a little bit for buying that XP boost? Yeah. Do I regret buying it? No, because I love this game. This is a fantastic game. And I don't see how unless you're someone that is that gets hooked on games and I could see how someone will want to spend 60, 70 hours playing this game. That's just not how I am. When I hear developers go out and say there's 200 hours of content, that takes you 40 hours to beat the game, that's a turnoff to me at this point in my life. I like games like Uncharted or Tomb Raider, things like that, where it's 15, 20 hour tight campaigns that I can knock out in a 3 or 4 sittings. I was having multiple sittings of 6+ hours on Monday and Tuesday, and I took to beat this game, and I think that's the way this game plays best. And that's what I mean. If I didn't have Monday, having Extra Life and Monday and Tuesday off to play this game, helped me. Whereas I sat down and I wasn't getting home from work. I wasn't trying to watch the TV shows that I'm hooked on to, or anything like that, or just life in general. I sat down, woke up, sat down, and I could play this game with no distractions for hours on end. And that's the way this game is best played as. Just playing it in big chunks, 4, 5, 6 hour chunks, is the way to play this game. Because it's so easy to get lost in this game, and it sucks when and part of one of the big reasons I wouldn't want to play it after work and on the weekdays is just that you get home at 4:30, 5 o'clock. By the time you're able to sit down and play the game, it's 6, 7 o'clock. And there's other things you want to do, there's other things you want to watch, blah blah blah, other things you want to play, and you really I only got an hour to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You really can't do a lot in this game in an hour. You can do some stuff, but you can't really. You don't feel like you accomplish a lot when it's all over with. And playing it in that big chunk of time helps quite a bit. Obviously, I think the main story in this game is one of the better ones I played in Assassin's Creed. Was the Cassandra story. I don't want to spoil it because it's actually really well told. But Cassandra is awesome. I love, there is dialogue options, but I picked a kind of she's kind of sassy, and she doesn't take bullshit from people. She's not a bad person, but she doesn't take shit. She doesn't let people walk over. You typically in games I like to play as just straight good guy, and this one I was I'm more in the middle, and I kind of picked my moments when I wanted to do stuff. And there was multiple moments where she made me laugh out loud just based off the decisions I picked. And the dialogue I picked, but with what she said, the way she said it was just fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. I really got hooked into the game, into the characters, into the world. I almost want to jump back into it, play more. but it's just like I have other stuff I want to play now, and I kind of need like some non-big open world games to play, because I played Spider-Man and Tomb Raider and now Assassin's Creed, all kind of back to back of decent sized games with the kind of some open world to them. Yeah, I just need a break from that. I need a break from that formula, but I want to go back and play more of that, or at least find out more what happens with Cassandra and with that world, because they did a really great job in this game. This is probably one of the best Assassin's Creed that's been made to date. But yeah, that is what I've been playing. Gables, what about you?
So I've been playing a random assortment of things since last Sunday. Honestly, I've already went into detail about Pitterpot. And I've also said things about Castlevania Requiem. I'm just trying to think here. Oh yes, for World of Warcraft, I am officially at 118. I am taking my sweet ass time to get to the level cap. And honestly, after I reach the level cap and I do a little bits of stuff, I am not going to be playing World of Warcraft as often as I am, as I was over the past 3 months, because the next update that comes for World of Warcraft 8.1 is supposed to address a bit of leveling different characters at a faster pace, which, hey, I would have loved to have had that 3 months ago when I started the game. But it's sort of like how you feel about Assassin's Creed Odyssey when it comes to, say, level progression, and also when it comes to the feeling of, oh, hey, I can't just get a lot of things done in 1 hour. I have to maybe need at least about 3 to 6 because of how much of an investment it is to try to go through and progress. And also, the story bits and everything else of all the expansions and things that I've actually seen so far is actually pretty decent, in my honest opinion. But here's the thing here. I have enjoyed playing my experience with World of Warcraft. I am definitely going to be playing more of it, but it's not going to be my main focus like it generally was, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to become a Twitch affiliate. So what I'm trying to do is going to go forth and stream other games with a focus on maybe 1 or 2 games that I play regularly. This past week I did announce that I am going to be playing on Thursday and Fridays, as of right now, Dragon Ball FighterZ, because I want to go ahead and have a routine where I practice some bits of combo moves, plus I go to either the arcade or the ranked mode. I just start playing a few matches and see, basically showcase a bit to my audience that I got. Because one of the positive things about Extra Life last Saturday was I actually did gain some new followers, and now I'm up to around 20 or so. Which, hey, that's fine. I mean, at least I'm constantly getting about 2 or 3 viewers, a stream. Yeah. So that's fine. I mean, I like building things. And this is definitely going to be something I'm going to be continuously working on. Let's see. As far as other games are concerned at the moment, I did end up investing in a couple of different things. I bought a controller for my PS4, which basically is a wired Hiyori controller that has a different looking D-pad. Now, what that is it's supposed to be aimed towards younger gamers, but the reason why I picked it in general is it makes playing specific fighting games easier for me because of the D-pad. Now, here's the thing. When you're playing a fighting game that's so reliant upon precise movements inside of inputting a quarter circle command or something like that, the current PS4 gamepad is crappy when it comes to that. I mean, I could execute it, but not at the rate that I want it to do. But with this new Hiyori controller that's basically a small blue DualShock 4, pretty much, that has that's all colored blue and stuff, that's about $25. I started using that, and I actually found it to be a lot more easier for input commands, even though the controller is basically almost the size of a Super Nintendo controller. But let's see. As far as the other purchase, I actually made it today, and this was purely out of luck, because I don't generally go forth and make big purchasing decisions. So what I did is I went to a pawn shop, one of my local pawn shops. I was looking around, and then I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I checked it out a bit with the clerk, and I ended up checking everything, and it was good enough for me to buy. And I decided that it was about time for me to buy another PlayStation Vita.
Huh.
Now, here's the kicker. I still had a bunch of different things for the PlayStation Vita. Earlier on this year, I had traded my old Vita in along with a PS3 in order to get a birthday gift for one of my friends. The reason why I invested inside of this PlayStation Vita, one, I've been having a craving to play a couple different games that I've had for the device, but two, the memory card that was with this Vita is definitely one of the more rarer ones that you could find for the device. You want to guess how much storage was on this single memory card that I had found, Tyler?
128 gigabytes?
No, actually, this one was 64 gigabytes.
Okay.
So basically, for those who own a PlayStation Vita, you know how hard it is to try to find decent proprietary memory cards because of how Sony had priced them originally back around 2012. Now, even if I did not have the 64 gigabyte one, I still have one brand new 8 gigabyte card that somehow I had back in storage that I didn't sell off way back when. But what that means, this price for this Vita and this memory card was exclusively cheaper than what you could have bought it for when it was used, say on an Amazon or on whatever. I looked around Amazon a little bit earlier, and the sale of a 64 gigabyte PlayStation Vita card is roughly close to around $100 new. Still, the Vita itself, brand new, is close to around $200. Still, to this day, because the only way you can buy a new Vita is by going forth and going to retailers like, say, a GameStop online or an Amazon online or whatever. So, the price that I ended up paying for this PlayStation Vita, in mostly good shape. I mean, the back touchscreen is the back rear touch stuff is kind of scratched up a bit because whoever owned it last obviously set it across on a couple different damn tables or whatever the hell and didn't have a case for it. I paid about $70 for this damn thing.
Wow.
$70. Honestly, this is definitely one of the best handheld deals I've gotten. Because not only did I get a memory card that's exclusively rare to find, but also it's because I got the system for dirt cheap, because the people who had it at the pawn shop, I'm pretty sure they knew, okay, the PlayStation Vita, blah, 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 the system itself is not a big seller here and there, blah, 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 but they did not know the value of the memory card that was inside of it. And that was one of the reasons why I picked it up. And so now, I have a huge-ass memory card inside this Vita. I can play any type of PlayStation Classics or PSP games or whatever Vita games I had off digitally, with the option if I want to pick up a few games or two, physically. But yeah, in and of itself, that was pretty much the big major purchase that I had done today. And even after setting it up and getting all of a couple games, everything still looks and feels great with this damn device. But last thing I did is I played a game on my Switch, and that was West of Loathing.
Oh, cool.
A game that I had played and discontinued a little bit, but now I just played about a half an hour of it back when I was going to do my car ride to and from, doing errands. And I got to a specific part inside the game where I was just exploring a little bit of the overterrain, and then I came across this camp. A camp of rodeo clowns. Now, what's kind of interesting is I started going forth asking questions. Oh, hey, what are you guys doing out here? What's going on? Blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So apparently they were a part of this circus that's a pretty normal, blah, 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 average sort of name or whatsoever. And so I kept on with this type of game, I just kept pressing on further and further until basically this trio of these demonic rodeo clowns, they were friendly at first, smiling, playing their, one of them's playing their harmonica, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. And then when I started pressing them further and further, what they were doing, this and that, all of a sudden the mood kind of changed and stuff, and it actually read the dialogue at one point. It's like, yeah, the rodeo clown that was playing the harmonica all of a sudden stopped playing and then looked at you a little bit menacingly and just started to started to attack. I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. And so basically here we have two stick figures facing off against these three freaking rodeo clowns with all sorts of various guns and all this other wacky shit. And so basically what I had done is I had killed these three these three demonic rodeo clowns, and I ended up discovering that the circus they were talking about was an actual real circus. And so that's where I'm stuck at right now, where I basically am paying the game's currency of meat in order to go through and see these sideshow attractions, which I found a dude that was just basically his entire head is an eyeball. Then I found this one dude that has two different types of heads, kind of one in the front of his head, one in the back of his head or something, the face. And then all of a sudden the last one's like a lady or something with all of her inner body functions or something like that inside this mechanical Iron Maiden. And every single one of them would not say how the hell they got to this way, which kind of suggests that probably the rodeo clowns had something to do with it. So I'm kind of seeing where this rabbit hole sort of leads. But the game in and of itself is still fun. It's still hilarious at points. I still love the fact that I had chosen a horse or something, nicknamed him Yoshi, and he's basically one of the crazy ass, he's one of the crazy horses with his eyes crossed and shit, just going everywhere. But the game definitely has a lot of humor. It definitely has a lot of fun stuff about it. The RPG mechanics are pretty basic, but at the same point, I'm not playing the game because of the RPG mechanics. I'm playing it because the story is actually laugh out loud funny at points. Very text heavy, but at the same point, it makes me still want to keep on playing it. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to go ahead and finish it, but I am going to at least give it a good shot over the next week or so and see if it'll actually keep on sticking with me. But other than that, yep, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
All right, well, very cool. So there's one thing I was thinking about, Gables, that we did not get a chance to play during Extra Life, that we need to find a way to do so. Carve some time out, maybe play it, maybe stream it or something. Yeah. A way out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't know when, but you and I will have to sync up or something sometime and try to beat that game. It's only supposed to be 6 hours, so
okay,
knocked out in a few gaming sessions or something. But let's move on to some of our topics we have this week. We're going a little long, so I think we'll just go with kind of the one really big one that happened today. Xbox had their XO18 event, their Inside Xbox event. This is the first one they've had since, I think it was 2006 they had it.
Right.
They had a couple of them back in mid 2000s. They had one in 2005 where they revealed the Xbox. They had one in 2006 where I think they revealed Halo 3. Or They showed off Halo 3. So they're usually pretty big. So going into it, I think a lot of people were what is this going to be? Is this going to be a direct? Is this going to be a mini? Is this going to be PSX? Is this going to be a E3 type of thing? What is this going to be? And I think a lot of people were kind of all over the map. I think me personally, I was trying to keep it somewhat in check. Don't expect the world. Right. This could be. I was expecting something like PSX, where there could be some cool stuff coming out of it, but it's gonna be some hardcore gamer stuff. You're not gonna see. If you're not gonna see, we're gonna see Halo. Maybe we'll get some stuff Crackdown. A few cooler things coming out of it. But then about an hour before the event, Major Nelson tweets out, "It's not quite E3, but it's close." I'm saying, oh boy, this could be really good. So I did really good because they announced this months ago, in the summertime, midsummer, July. This is happening. I'm and that's the way I felt. And then about an hour for the show that comes out, I'm oh fuck, this. I'm all right. I'm what are we gonna see? Are we gonna see Gears 5? We're gonna get some more Crack. We're gonna get really in depth in Crackdown 3. Maybe Halo might show up. Maybe we're gonna announce the next big thing. Maybe we get a release date for Ori and the Will of the Wisp. So anyways, it happened. It's about 2.5 hours of my life that I'll never get back. Um, I watched the whole thing. Unfortunately, it wasn't necessarily a bad show, but if I would have went in with my thinking PSX, I think I still would have been slightly disappointed, but it would have been like, okay, it wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it was still okay. But that tweet of it's close to E3, I'm just like, oh shit, like going wild, like okay, anything can happen. And so, anyways, I just want to do a quick rundown of everything that happened during it. So, a game called Void Bastards was revealed, the world premiere. It's coming. It's going to be a console launch exclusive, so it's only going to be a time exclusive to Xbox. But it's going to come to Game Pass when it comes out. It's called Void. It's called Void Bastards. It's from the developers, the makers of BioShock, BioShock 1 and Infinite. It is. It kind of has like a almost like, I don't know how to put it, like an anime style of graphics, like close to like a Borderlands style graphics. But it kind of you can kind of see like the BioShock and System Shock into it.
Right.
First person shooter game. You're in space. Kind of has it's kind of a goofy, fun aesthetic to it too. So it looks like it could be fun. 2019 is all we got for that. Obsidian and In Exile were both announced that they were acquired by Microsoft. I don't think anybody really knew who In Exile was. I looked at the games that they had made in the past, and I don't recognize any of them. But I going off Twitter and just reading about it, I think a lot of people felt that same way. Obsidian, of course, made Fallout New Vegas and Stick of Truth. So a big to add to a big couple, at least one really big, well-known studio out there to add to the library, and then hopefully maybe another one too. Crackdown 3 officially has a new release date, February 15th, 2019. It was originally at E3 announced as February 22nd, which of course was the day of Doom, when you had Days Gone, Metro Exodus, Anthem, and Crackdown 3 all coming out on February 22nd. Then shortly after, they pulled it back, saying it's going to be February 2019, and now it's officially February 15th, 2019. They showed off a new mode. It's a 5 versus 5 multiplayer mode that is like focused on destruction. It's called Wrecking Zone. So that's probably the most gameplay I think we've seen of Crackdown 3 in the public since it was announced 5 years ago.
Yep.
They announced 16 games are coming to Game Pass. PUBG was one of them. Hellblade, which was my number 4 game of the year last year, which was also last year the greatest year in gaming ever. So that's saying something for me anyways. Ori and the Blind Forest is coming to Xbox Game Pass as well. And Ori and the Will of the Wisp will become the Game Pass when it releases next year. Agents of Mayhem, which is from the creators of Saints Row, the Saints Row franchise. Thomas Was Alone, which is a Mike Bithell game, which he makes like Mayhem, Tacoma. And he made, what's the game with with the girl in the house.
Gone Home?
Gone Home, yes, thank you. He also made that. Which Thomas Was Alone was his first game he made, I believe, and it made him enough money that he was able to quit his job and make games full time. But thank you for that. Yeah, Gone Home, fantastic game. And then Thief of Thieves, which is a game that's it came out today. It was like a shadow drop. It's available on Game Pass right now. It is a video game based off Robert Kirkman comic, which Robert Kirkman is the creator of Walking Dead. So I don't know if that game, I haven't heard anything about it yet, but it's out now. Final Fantasy 13 is going to be backwards compatible, and soon Final Fantasy 13 2, and then Final Fantasy 13 Lightning's Return, I believe. It's coming to backwards compatibility here soon. And then also Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, and 10-2 will be coming to Xbox next year, which will be the first time all of those games will ever be on Xbox consoles before, because they've always been on either phones, Steam, or PlayStation.
Yep.
And then they're also coming to Switch next year as well, which will be a first for them too.
Yep.
Forza Horizon 4 and Sea of Thieves will be getting big updates here soon. Sea of Thieves is adding a big PvP mode. Forza Horizon 4 is adding like some new modes, like new tracks and stuff, and also like they're adding like weather effects too. Kingdom Hearts 3 got a trailer showing I think it's Thousand Oaks or something like that. I can't remember. Anyways, the Winnie the Pooh world was shown off.
100 Acre Wood.
Yeah, that one, 100 Acre Wood. It's been a long time since I've listened to or paid attention to it. Winter Arcade or Summer Arcade is coming back. The games will be announced at Game Awards. And there's a few of these, so there's a lot of like small announcements. I'm obviously glossing over it because it was a 2.5 hour show, and I'm just kind of glossing. I'm kind of picking the bigger stuff. This is the bigger stuff that happened. But they announced that the Summer Arcade or Winter Arcade is coming back. All the games will be announced at Game Awards, and they had a few moments like that where, hey, you'll see more at Game Awards for this, blah, blah. So people know, like, Summer Arcade and Winter Arcade was huge back on the early 360 days. Like,
oh, yeah.
Especially in the summertime when, back then, I mean, nowadays it's still kind of slim in the summertime, but you still, we get a couple, 1 or 2, maybe 3 big games during the summer. Where back then we didn't see that, so it was dominated by indie games. So like in the past, I want to go through real quick. Like Castle Crashers, Geometry Wars, Trials HD, Bastion, and Limbo all came out of that. Shadow Complex was another big one. Like there was always like 5 every summer, and there's always a couple in the winter that came out, and they were always just killed it. They're always great games. And they also like showed off some stuff for Devil May Cry 5. There was a Minecraft update. There was they showed off some Dragon Ball Fighter, Dragon Ball characters in Jump Force, and some more gameplay for Just Cause 4 was shown off as well. Because I know you didn't watch it, Gables. You were smart and you value your time more than I do. Obviously,
I actually forgot about it.
You forgot about it, yeah. So you made, like I said, you were smart and valued your time because you also not only didn't you watch it, you didn't think about it. Which was really the smart move, because I was excited for it all week. Not really all week, but the last couple of days I've been really excited for it, and looking forward to it. Just like I said, not expecting to blow my mind. Like even like a run of the mill Nintendo Direct is better than what this was, because it was
right.
It felt like it reminded me of the Ubisoft E3 press conference. I believe it was 2016. I want to say, where it was like 2+ hours, and it was just like, hey, we're going to talk about a game, and then we're going to sit down on a couch and talk about it for a while.
Oh.
And that's what a lot. My mic keeps falling. Sorry, guys. And that's what this kept reminding me of. Like, so they talked about a decent amount of stuff. Like I said, a lot of small things are announced, and like if this was everything I talked about, and a few other things were mentioned, and this could have been done in 45 minutes, an hour at most. Like what was shown off here, and you could talk about it for a little bit. Like I said, this was 2.5 hours, and there was just so much downtime in this. Where like sitting down, like they did a Minecraft. They spent like 20+ minutes on Minecraft. We're like,
we already know what Minecraft is.
Yeah, Minecraft's been out for like a decade now. Like if you include like early access and beta and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like the people that really care about Minecraft are not watching this.
Minecraft.
Yeah, they're playing Minecraft right now. They don't watching this. They don't even know where this is happening probably. And the people that are watching this don't give a shit about Minecraft. So it's this weird thing where like the people that like Minecraft aren't gonna know about it. People that don't care about Minecraft are forced watching it. It's just like when we see it every year at E3, we see a Minecraft update. It's like we just don't give a shit. The Devil May Cry 5 thing was just it was pointless. It just kind of glossed. It went over some of the fighting mechanics. Nothing was really shown off that like, oh, you need to run out and check it out. Just Cause 4, it was like the last big push before it comes out next month. Jump Force comes out in January, but it just, like I said, it just showed off 2 Dragon Ball. I think it's I knew that Geyser starts with a G. One of the fighters. I forgot his name. I'm
Golden Frieza.
Frieza, yes, that. I was way off. Oh boy, Goku.
No. Let me just say it here. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta.
Same thing, really. They're all Goku to me. There's Goku and the giant pink thing that you constantly remind me the name of, but for whatever reason I cannot remember his name. What's
Majin Buu?
Yeah, that guy. What's it again?
Majin Buu.
Majin Buu. There we go. I'm gonna ask you again next week what it is because I'm not gonna remember. I'm gonna immediately forget in about 3 minutes. But yeah, they're all. Other than that, they're all Goku. And then Mochin Buu. So yeah, it was just like I said, so much dead air, so much downtime. It was just. There was some cool stuff in there, you know. It started off hot with the Void Bastards. I'm like, okay, maybe this might be like an E3, you know. Like that was the first thing they showed. Other than PUBG coming to Game Pass was the first thing they showed. Then they showed Void Bastards, and then they showed Crackdown. I'm like, this is gonna be big, and that was like the peak of the show. And that was like 10 minutes in.
Wow.
And then we had another 2+ hours of just little tiny things. Like the best part about this show was the crowd, because it was a press conference. They're in Mexico City. That crowd was hot. They were chanting, going crazy the entire time. If these guys were paid actors in that crowd, they deserved double because they were fantastic. They were like the best part of the show, though. How crazy they're going over every little tiny thing announced. They lost their fucking shit. But yeah, I don't know. So I thought it was very disappointing. A lot of it I blame on Major Nelson for. I mean, maybe not him, but maybe it was just like Xbox was like, hey, build some last minute hype for this show. It's gonna be E3 in October or November. I don't know what month we're in anymore. It's crazy.
November.
Yeah, November. That one. It's one of the 12. But Gables, I don't know what. I mean, I know you didn't watch it, but you've kind of heard coming out of it what happened. Anything coming out of this excite you at all?
Oh, let's see. To be perfectly honest with you, other than the fact that maybe Crackdown, got moved a little bit earlier inside the month of February, and other than the fact that some bits of the Final Fantasy 13 games are being backwards compatible and stuff, I honestly don't see really too much that gets me interested right at this moment. I mean, the whole PUBG to Xbox Game Pass, that's a big thing for people who already don't have PUBG on their Xbox console, but at the same point, you know, it just justifies how interesting the Game Pass is in general for Microsoft's system, because of how many of the great games that are on there availability wise for them to play from the get-go, like say Ori and the Blind Forest, and even bits of like other older games and stuff, or even certain indie games too. But I gotta admit, though, Microsoft really is going forth and reshuffling their deck for the next generation if they're going to go after even like developers, like certain companies and stuff that are basically going to help them develop like first-party games for their next Xbox stuff. With Obsidian, you know, big RPG makers they were, so it's like, yeah. So I thought it was all right, you know, the whole Xbox News stuff, but not really a lot of things that interested me too much.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like I said, like coming out of it, I do want to check out was it Thief of Thieves? Just because the Robert Kirkman name kind of, from Walking Dead, that makes me a little interested. I'm gonna try to see what people are saying about it online. If I hear good things, I'll check it out, obviously. But that was like the one thing that I'm like, that's coming out soon. Like, we didn't see anything from Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I thought that was one thing that was... I think Crackdown 3 was like a shoo-in, but Will of the Wisp was like the like close second. We'll have to see something. Like, it's supposed to be coming out early 2019. There's no other big events coming out between now and then that might be showing off.
Right.
But, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, it was just a disappointing event. And not only just disappointing, but just very long as well. Like I might as well just watch an episode of WWE Raw instead. It would have been a better use of my time. But Gables, we went very long for our 300th episode.
Yeah, we did.
Which, is fair. We're allowed to do. These only happen every 100 weeks or so. So we're allowed to do so every now and again. But I do want to thank you guys for listening to us this week. Thank you guys also. We've been doing this for over 5 years now, 5.5 years now. 300 episodes, that's a big deal. I honestly wonder how many podcasts have, not even like so many podcasts, but like as far as like small indie podcasts have made it this long, have done this, that are weekly, that are daily, blah blah blah. That stick around, this long and keep going. And I feel like we're doing, we enjoy what we're doing. We do this because we still are having fun while we're doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just it's cool and it's fun. And it's always, it's kind of a great thing to always see that number going up. Like always talked about in the past, like every 10 episodes we get to like 260, then 270, 280. I'm like, oh, that's cool. We're here now. But to get to 300, it's a cool thing, and especially in the time frame we have done it, where we have released more episodes than weeks we've been doing this podcast.
Yep.
So, and we've only ever missed 1 week in that time, 5.5 years, and that was my fault when we missed that week. So yeah, it's for me personally, it's cool to hit that number. It brings a little bit of pride to me. Makes up for me spending the money on the XP boost in the Assassin's Creed Odyssey in a lot of ways. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have. I don't. I was thinking about a lot. Like, what do I say about 300? And I really don't know what it is, because like it was the same way when we hit 200, when we went 100. It's just like we just kind of keep chugging along, and we're enjoying it. We're having fun when we do it. This is one of those cases where you kind of stop and smell the roses. Like, oh man, this is cool.
Yeah, it is.
This is great. This is a great thing. I think that we're doing. We're having a lot of fun doing. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to it.
Well, honestly, though, it's just been an interesting ride to and from. I mean, we both have gone through a massive amount of changes since we first initially started recording the podcast. Different computers, different jobs, different places. Just a lot of things have happened over the past 5 years since we started recording the podcast, and even our choices of games and things have evolved from then, where it's like you were very sort of like an anti-Nintendo thing starting off, and now you're like a big Nintendo fanboy again.
Yes, I am.
Where I sort of went to an opposite, where it's like, oh, hey, I knew a bunch about PlayStation, blah, 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 and so on and so forth, and it's like I just basically just went forth and like with every single damn thing that imaginable, even going so much as this year, where it's like everything's been changing this year, gaming wise for me. It's like looking back at all of this from where we're at back then to now, it's just amazing how much time flies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. As you get older, it feels like it goes by faster.
Yeah.
Time does. Like I said at the beginning of the show, where Extra Life feels like it was 6 months ago, but it was 8 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't really have anything. There's been a lot of fun moments, in this 300 episodes. I've talked about the past, just like how the whole show's happened, with Jake wanting me to do a Let's Play thing with him. Then it was like, no, I don't really want to do that. Well, let's make a podcast. And then it was like, hey, I know this guy online. I want to do we need an extra host. There's this guy online I know named Jack of Hearts. Like, maybe we should. He wants to do a podcast. Maybe we should ask him. Now, fucking here we are. We got Colonel Gables here, aka Jack of Hearts.
Yep.
Jake left us a long time ago. We just kind of kept going. I kind of just took over the Lipson part of it. But Justin joined us for a very long time. He kind of jumps in when he can. He's a busy guy. Troy joined us for like a cup of coffee. That was fun. It's funny because obviously it's been 100 episodes since 200. We just celebrated 200. We recorded episode 200 just last April.
Yep. So
it's only been 17 months since we've done it. So like I said, we're recording these episodes. Obviously, with Game of the Year stuff, and then E3, we always record a bunch of extra podcasts. But yeah, it's still cool, hitting that number, 5.5 years. It's crazy to think when I talk to people and people will ask me, "Oh, you do a podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I don't really talk about too much of my personal life, especially at work. I don't, like, a handful of people know I do it, and like, "Oh, how long have you been doing that for?" And I'll think about it, like, "Oh shit, we've been doing it since May 2013."
Yep.
It's like, holy shit! It doesn't feel like I can still remember, like, when we first started doing the show, and I had my old shitty laptop that could barely run Audacity.
Right.
Editing this podcast and recording it with our fucking built-in microphones, and it's sounding like garbage, and me watching YouTube videos learning how to edit while editing the show. So yeah, it's great. Now I have a better setup now, but I still use Audacity to this day. It's free and I understand it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But yeah, it's still fun. We still enjoy doing it. Obviously, because it's a dumb thing that we do. We've changed our names multiple times.
Yep.
Moved from Drunk Nerds to Gen Gaming, back to Drunk Nerds. But yeah, it's cool and it's fun. And I just want to thank you guys, for listening. Whether you guys joined us 5.5 years ago, on episode 1, or you joined us at episode 100, 200, 299, whatever it is. Thank you guys for listening. So you're big, like we don't have the biggest following in the world and stuff. And I mean, that's not really, it's obviously be nice to have, I'd love to have 1 million listeners, blah, blah, blah. But I still kind of love that we do the show out of passion. We buy all our own games. We have full-time jobs. We play what we like. And we don't really force it really ever.
No.
This never has felt like work. It's always been something that we just always wanted to do. And it's like, even when I look forward to we only take 2 weeks off a year and we always record extra podcasts to make up for that time. And it's like, oh man, weekend off. Let's, oh man. And then Saturday comes and I'm like, oh, we don't have to record tonight. I kind of want to record tonight though. It's just it's a dumb thing. It's like you look forward to the breaks and the break comes and you're just like, man, I miss doing it. So it's just like, I don't see it in sight. Maybe maybe in a few years when we're recording episode 1,000, we'll see where we're at. I don't know. But yeah, once again, thank you guys for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group. It is Drunk Nerds Podcast. Like and join us on there. At Twitter, we're at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. At twitch.tv/Drunk Nerds Podcast. Follow us on there. More importantly, at twitch.tv/Colonel Gables. Follow him on there. He's, like I said, he's streaming multiple days a week, especially on Thursdays and Fridays. He'll be doing some streaming. And then if we do any more, we'll let you guys know. Like I said, we'll try to work out something for a way out. On YouTube, we are Drunk Nerds on there. Subscribe, please. Give us a big thumbs up. Like the show. Obviously, the show goes up on there. Leave us a comment, please, as well on iTunes, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe and give us a 5-star review with a comment. The more people out there that give us 5-star reviews, likes, comments, blah, 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 the more likely it is people will see us. So if you guys can do that, we really would appreciate it. But once again, I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, hope you have yourself a good week. Hope you played a lot of fun games. But most importantly of all, I hope you've enjoyed a fun episode of the Drunk Nerds Podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet.
Bye, guys.
See ya.